Hi, and welcome to my sketchbook tour. I had a lot of ups and downs with this sketchbook. At first I wanted it to be a sketchbook where I go to whenever I wanted to make good looking paintings. So at the end I would have a nice looking sketchbook. But I guess that also was a mistake, because now I built up a lot of expectations and a lot of pressure on myself. So every time I worked in here, it never was good enough. But besides that, I also at this time wasn't really sure what kind of art I wanted to make. So you will see lots of things I tried out, but let's start with the actual tour now. That was the very first spread I painted in here, and at that time I painted a lot of these weird looking faces. Then we have a gouache painting, and the eyes are painted in watercolor. Most of the time I paint with gouache, but in this sketchbook a lot of times I decided to paint in watercolor and not in gouache. I'm not so used to watercolor, so I very seldomly paint in watercolor. And also here I practiced painting a portrait in watercolor. This here is in gouache. Here I decided to pre-mix my colors, and I would mix the lightest and the darkest color and then also the one color in between, and then paint with these colors. Here another portrait, but this time in gouache. I feel like painting portraits in watercolor is much easier than in gouache. With gouache it always turns out a bit patchy. Here I wanted to make more cohesive looking spreads, so I used for everything similar colors. And I really like how this illustration turned out. I don't really much like this one here. Here I was experimenting with backgrounds, but ended up not really liking it. So same thing here. I like the fish, but the background here is way too dark, and now I think you can't really see the fish anymore. In this spread here I was trying out different styles, but this spread didn't really feel like the art I wanted to make, so I didn't continue with this kind of style, I would say. And I think after that I tried out a different kind of style, but this one also didn't feel right to me somehow. And I also kind of started to feel a bit disappointed with the sketchbook, but I think this bug turned out good. I always tend to criticize my own art so much, so I'm trying to stop being mean to myself like all the time. So this little bug here turned out good. I really like it. These two were both Inktober prompts called Cheektober. I guess I only managed to do day 16 and day 17. Both of these pages are in watercolor. I think here it still was October, but it wasn't any prompt. I just was drawing and painting and mixing brush, pen and watercolor. This one here is the only spread where I used just pencil. Since this is a watercolor sketchbook, I feel like drawing with pencils only is a waste of paper, so I just did it once in here. And everything here is watercolor. And then this spread is a mix of gouache and watercolor. And here on the left side I covered something up. I can't remember what it was, but I remember really not liking it. Also, at this point I felt like everything I tried to paint in the sketchbook didn't really turn out how I wanted it to be. This is a more recent pencil drawing, and it feels a lot more like the style or the art I wanted to make. Okay, so this here is a super old gouache painting. I had to cover up something. I was just copying another artist, so I just can't show you. So I just put this old one on top. So then here I started to get more into plants. So I like my pencil drawing you saw here, and I wanted to transfer this style into gouache. So here I painted a lot of leaves and then tried out adding different mediums like fine liners or colored pencils or regular pencil, and this side I tried to paint a bigger, I don't know what it was, some plant thing, but then ended up not liking it, so I covered it up with this one here. Then some more plants, but still I wasn't really happy with how this looked. It still didn't feel like the art I wanted to make. So this is the least favorite spread in the sketchbook for me. So let's just continue. Here I'm trying out some shapes and things in watercolor and then in gouache. Do you also see a face in here? Like there's a face for me. Another drawing or painting I covered up something else with. I don't remember what I painted here, just remember that I didn't like it at all. And that one here was a draw this in your style, which I didn't post it, I was just doing it for myself. Here I was practicing first painting faces in gouache, but it was so bad that I just stopped. And then I continued painting the same face in watercolor, still didn't like it, so I painted another face also with watercolor. While working on this spread, I decided to fill the rest of the sketchbook as fast as I could. I also made a video about the process of this, and this little illustration was also the idea for a bigger one. So yeah, it's this one here. Here I just tried out some ideas, and then here I was practicing portraits with watercolor. And here I started to fill up my sketchbook. So everything from here I did in about 2 weeks. Also, if you're interested in the behind the scenes process of that, I will put the link to the videos down in the description. And from this time, this one here is my favorite. Here I just wanted to do small color studies and then decided to paint just a bigger version of these small little things here. Okay, this spread here is my least favorite from the one starting from here. Here I didn't plan out which colors I wanted to use, so I ended up using 2 dark colors for the background, which is a bit sad because I think if I would have used a lighter background color for the illustration, like here and here, it would look so much nicer. And yeah, this is the last page of the sketchbook. I hope you liked it. If so, give it thumbs up and follow for more. And I also would love to know which sketchbook page is your favorite one, so comment down below. And yeah, see you in the next video. Bye!